playoff position, there won't be a more pertinent game than this one in Northeast Indiana. It's Fort Wayne FC and the Chattanooga Red Wolves for a League One six-pointer presented by Old National Bank. Welcome one and all to the broadcast on ESPN Plus. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by Simon Evans on the broadcast. And oh buddy, do we have a great game here this evening. And here's the context for why. That red playoff line between 8th and 9th is where these two teams sit. Chattanooga currently going to be in the playoffs. Fort Wayne on the outside looking in. So there's the context you need. Chattanooga also has some games in hand, so that makes this even more important for Fort Wayne to find a result. Meanwhile, the Red Wolves trying to separate themselves from the chasing parties who are looking to take their spot as they also look to climb further up the standings and maybe even vie for a home playoff game as the season goes along. Well, we got to rewind a couple of months for the first time these two teams met, and listen, going into this game, Fort Wayne was trying to find their identity, and maybe this was just the moment where their season really got started, because after this, they went on a little bit of an unbeaten streak. Things started to click for Mike Avery's side. Meanwhile, Scott McKenzie will be looking to return the favor, thinking that, well, maybe they kind of owe us, and now it's our turn to get a result on them and have a bit of a run ourselves. But to pivot back over to Fort Wayne, as they try to recreate this result, they're going to need to do it without their star striker, because Lilian Ricolt has just been signed to San Antonio FC.
Yeah, it's a big move for the player going into the USL Championship. A good move for the club as well, whose business model really is to develop players, move them on to a higher level, take the money, find more talent, and keep that process going. So while it's a blow to them in terms of their immediate chances in the playoff push, it's not something that the club are unduly worried about, and they believe they have the solutions in-house to compensate.
They're playing the long game here, Fort Wayne, but in the short term, who steps into place? It's Ryan Betcher, presented by Modelo.
Yeah, absolutely no concern at all from Mike Avery about that position. Ryan Betcher comes straight in. He believes he's the man who's quite capable of taking the responsibility on those big shoulders that he has and leading the line and finding the goals that take them into the postseason.
And when it comes to goal-scoring responsibilities, you can also look on the other side of things with the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Papa Mensah is the player we're highlighting, presented by Modelo.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's all about finding a way for Chattanooga to be more efficient in front of goal, more clinical, take the chances. They've been creating opportunities, front foot football, but they need Mensah and the other players in the front line to be on fire, clinical, sharp, and efficient in the box.
They'll need to step up in particular today without the likes of Omar Hernandez serving suspension in this one. The red line separates these two teams, but which one will be above it after the final whistle? The ramifications lie heavy for this one. Who is more ready, Fort Wayne or Chattanooga? Find out after this break on ESPN Plus.
When injury happens, it can be devastating, not just for the athlete, but their entire family. This is where Parkview Sports Medicine comes in. We come alongside the athlete and the family and bring them back to where they once were.
There are stories like this in every community, in every single one of our high schools, in every single one of our universities.
It's the relationships that we build. We're building ambassadors for Parkview for generations to come.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
If you want to learn how to fan the football way, ask the fans with a Modelo. Only they know how to celebrate with strangers as if they were lifelong friends, to lose their voice for weeks after chanting for 90 minutes. They are always ready to teach you the ways of football, because to them, passion is meant to be shared. So go ahead, ask the fans with a Modelo.
What does success look like to you? At Purdue University Fort Wayne, you have what it takes. In the herd, your voice will be heard, and you'll be able to lead, inspire, create, and succeed when you earn your Purdue degree in our thriving city, you can have an impact. And that impact can change the world.
Tonight's Fort Wayne FC starting lineups are presented by the Northeast Indiana Ford dealers. Proud to support Fort Wayne FC and soccer throughout our community. Visit your local Ford dealer today. Now let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups.
Yeah, Ryan Betcher leading the line, as we said, but watch out for Tiag Healy coming from that deeper position just behind him. He times his runs very well. Awador and Gaffar on the wide positions will be charged with the job of providing the ammunition to Betcher.
Meanwhile, on the other side for Chattanooga, just 2 changes from their game against Union Omaha last weekend.
Yeah, it's a familiar formation for them, 4-4-2. They're really going to play on the front foot. They're aggressive football. It's not overcomplicating things. That's the approach that they take. And keep an eye out for Bentley, number 10 there on the right, a player who can open up defenses and create the opportunities that Mensah and Hernandez will need.
Always such a stout back line, too, anchored by the center backs Kinzer and Adewole. As our officiating crew today will be in the blue kits, led by Rashawn Clark, Diash, and Hernandez, the captains for this one. Hernandez, his 5th year with the Chattanooga Red Wolves, and Thiago Diash is 4th. So these are both guys that have been staples for each club for a hot minute. Of course, this is the first year as a professional for Thiago Diash, having played in USL League 2 with Fort Wayne in the years prior to this one.
But it's a balance, isn't it? When you're building these rosters, you want those players like that have 3, 4, 5 years experience at this level under their belt. And then you want the young players and the experiments that you can bring in that maybe are going to turn out to be money-spinning signings that you can benefit from, as we have seen this week.
Such a big step for Fort Wayne in that capacity, but now they have to take a step competitively. Spent a lot of this season within that top 8. Especially on that undefeated run they went on after beating the Chattanooga Red Wolves. But a 3-game losing skid here means that they are once again outside of that top 8, which is where you need to be to make the postseason at the end of the season. Chattanooga, always having played fewer games than the rest of the league up to this point in the season, have kind of been on the outside looking in, but you were never too worried because if you looked at the points per game, they were still one of the teams that would be in that mix once they actually got those games in hand back. Now they are above the playoff line, but they need to keep putting in results if they want to stay there, because there are some teams that are eager to be pursuants and to overtake them in that regard. So a big game for these two teams. Second all-time meeting, the first time they've met here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. It'll be Chattanooga going right to left, Fort Wayne left to right.
Yeah, it's not a time of the season you want to be hitting bad form, is it? You want to be finding some momentum to go into the postseason, not struggling over the line. So a big game this for both teams.
The ref sounds the whistle, and we are ready to go here from the Roo. It's the Red Wolves and Fort Wayne doing battle. Mark Schoenster, Simon Evans with you on the broadcast. These two teams straddling the playoff line coming into this weekend. We'll see where each of them stands after the final whistle and how the rest of the league sort of unfurls. A good bunch of games here this evening across the league, including several that kicked off prior to this one. Lofted ball over top. Diash bumps it with his back shoulder. Martin Shipman able to claim it before it reaches the feet of Pedro Hernandez, who turned 27 yesterday. So happy birthday to the captain for the Red Wolves. This is a Fort Wayne team that's coming off of a tough 3-0 loss across the country against AV Ulta. A game that, like Avery said, right now the pressure is breaking us at the moment, but also it's understandable because it was their first trip to play at AV Ulta, which is always such a tough place to travel over to. Always a super late kickoff and really hot there as well. Mentioned he wanted the subs to make an impact in the game, and they didn't really, but then you think about it, they were subbing in at 1 a.m. local time, and then you can kind of understand, all right, maybe this is a tall ask. Generally, he felt good with how they played, but the result obviously not mirroring that.
It's a big factor, you know, that people often forget about is the travel, isn't it? It really does have a big impact.
That ball took a deflection, and it'll go out for a corner kick. Tonight's corner kicks are presented by More Wealth Management, helping individuals and families in Fort Wayne plan for a stronger financial future. It'll be Michael Rempel who will take it. He's the usual set-piece operator. Missed last game with a red card suspension. Love to have him back at that left back spot, but also as the guy who's behind these dead ball situations. Pinged out a play for a deep Fort Wayne throw-in. Emerson Nieto. Leave this one behind. Rempel tosses it in. Wanted right back out to him. Could try for a cross, instead he plays it back, but it's a loose ball. Lifted up to Rempel again. And we've got another corner.
Yeah, good spell of early pressure from Fort Wayne, and I think after coming into this game on the back of a road defeat, that's what you want. You want to be on top at the start, get any nerves out of your system, and they'll be looking to try and improve on this corner and see if they can't find Ryan Betcher.
Rempel rips this one inside, carried along. Dias is there. He'll leave it. Armas can only go away from goal. Here's his cross. Steered away for Chattanooga, and out it goes. Let's take a look at tonight's injury report presented by PSM ONE, keeping Fort Wayne FC healthy and match ready all season long. Fort Wayne in a pretty healthy spot. Chattanooga, well, let's just say not quite the same. You can see the laundry list of players unavailable, including some pretty key names. Ari Jolly, such a big name early on in the season. He's been out for a good while. Malefi, similar sort of story. Omar Gomez, another guy that usually they like to have out there. And then also today, although he's not injured, Omar Hernandez missing in action due to a red card he got for himself against Union Omaha last weekend. This is a Chattanooga team that's a little bit having their hands tied at this point in the season.
Yeah, but this is a time of year as well when the roster structure that you've built, have you got that depth there? This is the time when you find out, yeah, when you need to bring those players in. You've got 4 or 5 injuries, a suspension here, you know, players feeling the wear and tear of a season. Have you got those players ready to come in? And I think, you know, Scott feels that he has that in the squad, and we'll see tonight whether he does.
Jason Smith blasts this one down the field, and it didn't stay in bounds, which gives us a chance to take a look at the Toyota Keys to the Match, presented by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. A couple of things that we discussed with the coaches here this evening going into this game. Fort Wayne just wanting to be better in the boxes, and then for Chattanooga, it's all about that team brand, right?
Yeah, I think, you know, the way that they play is a very honest, a very direct and physical approach in a lot of ways. You know, they want to get around the field, make their presence felt, and go for it. And that's what they've got to play like. They don't want to overthink things. And sometimes I think when you're on the road in a difficult game like this at Fort Wayne, you can fall into that trap of overthinking what are the opposition doing. They've been told just go out there and play your way.
Now on the Fort Wayne side of things, Mike Avery mentioning in this losing streak, they've done well to create chances for themselves, but they haven't been punishing teams when those moments come. Meanwhile, they're the ones getting punished by opposition whenever they make a mistake. So it's sort of about having to turn that script around here.
Yeah, so much of the game is that, isn't it? It's about executing at either end of the field, being tight and solid at the back, and then clinical in attack. It doesn't really matter if you can get those two things sorted out. All the complications about midfield play are much, much less important. And they've been creating chances, so they'll be confident that they can turn the corner.
It'd be a very different story if things had gone entirely stale and nothing was looking good, but it's just about that final product. As Rempel taps this one back to Armas. He'll roll it over to JP Jordan. He combines with Gafar. That was another key that Mike Avery talked about, is if you don't see the avenue, don't be forcing anything. He preached patience in a game like this against Chattanooga. You've got to recirculate, then so be it.
Yeah, they're doing that very nicely at the moment, aren't they?
That one just slipping by Michael Rempel. Give the ball back to Chattanooga. Coming off of a 3-1 loss at home against Union Omaha, a game in which you get a red card to arguably your strongest player in the first half, and that just completely changes the formula. Scott McKenzie even said, look, I mean, Omaha's got the best group of players. I mean, they're at the top of the table for a reason, or at least they were coming into this weekend. And he said, for us to win that match, you had to get several things right. And while a red card is not in that equation, so that's the first thing. But he felt they adjusted, and then when they created chances, it just wasn't quite clinical enough, including a Rapapa-Mensah shot that dinged off of the post late in that game, which would have made it 2-2. And Scott McKenzie thinks if that ball goes through, the 2-2 is your final score. They don't get that third goal, and you get a point out of the game where you were down a man for like 60 minutes. And kind of goes to show the testament to just how tough this team can be, even when the cards you're dealt are not exactly favorable.
Such fine margins in this game, aren't there, between, you know, what you would turn around and say like was a heroic point gained, and then people start looking at it in terms of statistics of losses and so on. So it's fine margins, and there will be again tonight. It's really hard to imagine this game being a blowout for either side.
Which means every individual moment could be the difference maker, so make sure you're keeping your eyes on the screen at all times here on ESPN+. Javier Armas rolls it back to Nieto. Pass just behind Michael Rempel, so a roll out. They're going to need to find goals here at Fort Wayne without Lilian Ricol, the joint all-time leading goal scorer with Tay Keeley. The history of Fort Wayne across both professional and USL League Two action. It was announced just yesterday that he was being transferred over to San Antonio FC in the USL Championship. Mike Avery said that it was about a 2-week process. Got really hot this week. The pros, well, you're 6 months into this thing as a pro club, and you're already successfully platforming a player and launching him into the next level. This is something that teams say they want to do, but some teams go years without actually accomplishing this. So to do it half a year into your first year as a pro club, I should say, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, you don't want to become known as a selling club, but there's a bit of a stigma around that phrase. But in reality, everybody in outside of the top tier is going to be a selling club in some way. And if you can show players that if they come to your club, they will develop, they will get an opportunity, and they will be allowed to move on to do better things, that really helps your recruitment, actually, because other players are going to look at that and go, you know, if I'm a star player in USL 2 and this club are coming to me and they're going to give me a chance, maybe they're going to let me go to USL Championship next year. So it really opens things up in terms of who they can attract. It gives the club a good reputation, and it's income, right? I mean, it's professional sport. You need to have revenue coming in as well. So it just makes sense from a whole series of perspectives. And if they can replace him on the field with Ryan Betcher tonight, then that will be the pain of it will be absorbed somewhat.
Nieto launch it over to Rempel. Got it in the left channel as they try to brew up something on the offensive end without the likes of Lilian Ricol out there, which is, of course, the immediate con of having him transferred as well. Lilian Ricol's not playing for you anymore. Jordan has to track this one down, and it rolls just ahead of him. It's near USL League One record transfer. Doesn't quite eclipse that number. But like you said, you could say that you're about flipping players around and getting them to that next level, but it's a whole different ball game when you have the proof of concept. You go, hey, you could come here and you can be just like Lilian Recall as opposed to just being all that talk, right?
Absolutely. You see this all over the world of soccer. Clubs that have a reputation for developing players and allowing them to go and move on and improve themselves will recruit better. It's just a fact, you know. And clubs that are stubborn and say, no, we're not going to let you go. You've signed a contract. You're going to stay with us until the end of that contract. They're the clubs that players are reluctant to move to.
Right.
So, you know, it just makes sense. It's the way the modern game is. It's disappointing for the fans when they start to like a player and identify with him and so on. But it's just one of those things that you have to accept about the modern game.
It's like a parent seeing their kid go to college, right?
Right, yeah.
You don't want them to go, but also you gotta let them spread their wings. Here's Tate Healy, someone who can fly a little bit himself. The other guy on this team that has 9 goals across competitions for Fort Wayne, which was tied with Recall atop the all-time standings in the short history of the club. So perhaps some of the burden also falls on him on top of Ryan Betcher to continue to perform in the goal-scoring category. Betcher knocked over there, and a free kick incoming. The whistle sounds from Rashawn Clark. Both players making peace. Just 2 guys duking it out, but it will result in a yellow card for Toby Adewale.
Yeah, it's clumsy more than anything else, really. He doesn't really get himself in the right position for that challenge. It's not well timed. You know, it's not a terrible foul. It's just a bit of a misplaced tackle, really.
It seems like both players were pretty copacetic about it after the fact, but it is a yellow card, which tonight are presented by Arnold Terrell Riddenauer, attorneys at law, protecting your rights on and off the pitch. 4th yellow in league play for Toby Adewale.
Yeah, that's a choice for the referees. Those early yellow cards, you know, we saw in the World Cup, for example, a lot of referees were reluctant to go early with a yellow card because that's what they were told. They were told by the FIFA refereeing people, you know, don't put yourself in a position where you've now set the mark at this level and you're going to be giving out 8 yellow cards in the first half. But some referees do believe that, you know, an early yellow sets the tone and gets the discipline of the game. There's 2 ways of looking at it, really. I don't think either's right or wrong.
Hernandez, he got tripped up, and I mean, if we've set the bar, then it needs to be set, and here's the yellow card for Rempel.
Didn't really act much as a deterrent to him, did it, with this challenge, but he's way off reaching the ball there. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a yellow card, whatever precedent you've set, to be honest. He's just so late there.
Just a clumsy attempt from Michael Rempel as we look at the replay presented by Bowen Health, caring for the mental wellness of our community every day as we get another Arnold Terrell Riddenauer attorneys at law yellow card. So 2 bookings very quickly in this game. It's also Rempel's 4th yellow card of the season. Having just come back from red card suspension, he's got to play careful for the rest of this game.
Yeah, that's a vulnerable position as well, left back, picking up a yellow card there. You don't want that. You can get exposed out wide. You've got to be really careful about any lunging, sliding challenges from now on.
So a free kick opportunity for Chattanooga. They haven't had too much going forward yet, but this is a team that's dangerous on set pieces. Lynon Wessels will be the one to provide the service here. He's one of those guys who can whip up something nice. That one's parried away by Rempel, sort of covering for the mistake that he created. Now Lilleen will saunter over to throw this one in from the right touchline. Our head official making sure that everything is nice and peachy in the box, where you imagine this ball will be going. Lilleen Nodded away by Musa. Chattanooga will remain on the hunt. Healy will just launch it up the pitch to no one in particular, but away from danger. Jason Smith will now have the ball at his feet, and he'll send it in the opposite direction. Tight passing eventually falls its way over to Awudor. Fans turn to CBS Sports Network on Sunday, August 16th, that's tomorrow by the way, at 7 p.m. Eastern for a USL League One clash. Union Omaha looks to continue their run at the top as they host the Richmond Kickers. Look to knock the Owls off their perch. Catch all the action on CBS Sports Network Sunday, August 16th. Vincenzo Candela against a team that he used to play for, as not too long ago was playing in USL League One, now the coach of the Owls. And also worth noting, Richmond Kickers, one of the teams that has gotten 3 points off of the Owls this season. So although maybe there's quite the separation between them in the table, Kickers have already proven they can beat the league's best. So certainly worth tuning into that one tomorrow. Surely be a couple of teams that would love for the Kickers to pull off a result like that. Charlotte Independence, one of them, who got off to a great start here today. 3 goals in the first 15 minutes of the match against Sarasota. I mean, whoa, come on. Both of these two sides looking to etch their names into the start of this game. Right now it's 0-0. Gafar, up the pitch it goes to Betcher. Did not take a touch off of Lass. It looked like it may have glanced Kinzert. And the decision is that it did not touch him, so it will be a Chattanooga throw.
Yeah, neither side have really settled into this game yet, have they? We've seen a lot of misplaced passes, a little bit of maybe nerves on both sides. They're feeling each other out a little bit. Neither side, you know, maybe it's the form, maybe it's the position in the league, but not really looking comfortable with themselves. And it's just going to take a couple of moments, really, I think, to get both these teams into their rhythm and into their stride.
On one side, you've got the youth of this Fort Wayne team that, well, I mean, this is a lot of them, it's their first year as a pro, so they kind of have to get used to these jitters. And then on the flip side, Chattanooga, more experienced, but this is their first time playing at this pitch. And when you get to a new stadium, there's that acclimation period that just naturally comes along with it. And they're also having to do it, again, without Omar Hernandez today, who was given a straight red in that game against Omaha. Scott McKenzie mentioned, look, it's all hands on deck. He's a supremely talented player, Omar Hernandez, and honestly, he thinks that there should be 2 goals at his stat sheet. One that's called back just because that Spokane game ended up being canceled after weather came in and brutally interrupted. This one's played inside. Kelly! Check that, that's Laline who lifts it over. Wrap up my thought. He also had a goal early in the year that ended up being called an own goal by Hunter Morse, the goalkeeper.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is they have a one-for-all approach in everything they do, and so when a talented player like Hernandez is out, everybody's got to chip in and do their part to make sure that it doesn't feel like he's too badly missing.
Next man up is the mantra, isn't it?
Exactly.
It is a beautiful stadium, this, isn't it, in Fort Wayne? Really is a super modern stadium that's been built clearly for the future, thinking ahead with this club as well. Only heard good things about the surface as well. This very modern style of turf that the players enjoy playing on.
I have to say, not all turf is created equal, that's for certain, and this is on the higher end of that scale.
Yeah, but the days of those high bouncing balls that you used to see people chase around on rock hard, what we would call plastic pitches at the time, they're long since gone. These are like carpets now.
Musso will roll it along that carpet over to the left-hand side as it's played up the pitch to Rempel. They'll be much more used to the way this pitch plays, Fort Wayne. Much more than certainly they were when they first met the Chattanooga Red Wolves, because prior to that game, they hadn't played a home game here all the way back in April. Curling ball sent in for Betcher! Ryan Betcher, the burden falls on him to be that spearhead.
Yeah, well, this is exactly how to use the height of someone like Ryan Betcher. Get him isolated at the back post and get it on his head. They had two men on him who did just about enough to put him off, and it was a tight angle as well. Not an easy chance at all, but having two defenders around him is something that Chattanooga are going to have to keep to, because, as you say, spearhead, the target man, really a classic number 9 role he's playing there.
Yeah, it's much more, he's much more of a traditional 9 than that of Lilian Recol.
Right.
He's more of that crafty, pacey number 9. So in some ways, it sort of simplifies for the players around you, even if, of course, the skill set of Recol was one you love to utilize. Gainbridge looking on as his team resets and have had quite a bit of the possession in this game. He mentioned when scouting out Chattanooga that it's a team that's very clear about who they are. And he mentioned that the Red Wolves are a team that make you pay in places that Fort Wayne, he was pretty frank with us, have been susceptible as of late. So they need to be more clinical when they create those chances. And as I talked about earlier, be patient when you have the ball. Don't force anything, and make sure that you don't leave the back door open, because Chattanooga can quickly hurt you on the counter.
Yeah, that strength on the counter-attack that Chattanooga has is so essential when you're on the road. It's a great weapon to have when you know that you're probably not going to have much of the ball, you're going to be under pressure. If you are a counter-attacking team, having that weapon with you can be just so valuable.
Sliding in is Jason Smith. 5 clean sheets this year. Burnt Shipman on the other side, 7 clean sheets, which is tied for the league high, with James Talbot, who has very recently caught up to him in that regard. Corpus Christi been on a bit of a shutout streak as of late. It's helped them sort of join the playoff conversation, which is bad news for these two teams.
Yeah, they're certainly within distance, aren't they? A couple of points away from getting themselves right in there and across that line. So
with each passing game, this playoff race is just going to heat up more and more, Simon. And it's a fun year because we've got 17 teams in this league and only 8 make the postseason. So in a way, it's the most cruel format we've seen since 2020. And obviously that was a weird year where you only had 2 teams making the final. So you have to go back all the way to 2019, the inaugural season of League One, where there was 10 teams and just 4 playoff spots, that you are as exclusive as you were this season for making the playoffs. It means that there are going to be some good teams that are not going to be in that dance come October.
But I think you need that. I think you need that to keep the edge in a regular season. And, you know, make games matter, right? This game really matters. There's consequences on the line here, and you want that at this stage of the season. I think sometimes when you have leagues where too many teams get in the postseason, it can become too much of a stroll.
Yeah, either you're competing for that Players' Shield, which is another trophy to fight for, or you're comfortable in a playoff spot and you can just kind of coast along in the season and wait for the playoffs to really kick it into high gear and try to pull off an upset.
I mean, even those teams at the top end who can feel pretty confident that they're going to be in the postseason, I really do believe that momentum is a factor. And it's a thing people talk about, you know, when you get towards the end of the regular season, should you be resting players ahead of the postseason, or do you lose that momentum? I think it's just so important, because I think once you've lost it, it's very difficult to get it back.
Ramos curling in the cross. Lean and Jordan were contesting for it, and it'll be a goal kick. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL League One. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Well, sort of to finish your thought there, Simon, about the top teams. Worth acknowledging with the way the standings are starting to break out. I don't even think you can be comfortable up there, even if you feel like you have a good shot at winning the Players' Shield, because you got to make sure you get one of those home playoff games to start playoffs. And you'd love to also be top 2 to host a semifinal as well and give yourself an opportunity to host the championship game. So these games, as the season goes along, there's going to be a lot on the line. And you're going to start looking back to games like this and think, oh man, if we could have just done this or that and gotten more points out of that game, then our situation could be entirely different. This is a pretty significant match as Abu Dhabi dances through traffic. Got it once again. Pulls it out to Kabir Ghaffar. Karans Abu Dhabi, one of 2 Frenchmen from UCF to make their way over to Fort Wayne this season. The other being Lilian Ricol, who's now gone. So one half of that dynamic having been launched into a larger club. Rempel curling this one in. He's looking for Ghaffar. Lilian able to bop it along. Rempel thought about another cross. Instead connects with Armas. Thiago Dias, the captain. Driving forward, Thiago Dias. Took a deflection and sputtered around the box. Rempel, once again with the ball. Rolls it into Healy, taps it along. Tague Healy has it again. Healy shoots, it's deflected wide.
Yeah, nice move there. That's the first time we've really seen that kind of slick combination that we know Fort Wayne are capable of. Really impressive move.
A lot of quick passes here, just players knowing where their teammates will be. The big block keeps this from being a goal and instead will be a corner kick. The boot of Ayambila intervening there as Healy was trying to pick out the bottom right corner. Another more wealth management corner kick here. 29 minutes in. It's been these opening 30 minutes that Fort Wayne has looked good during this losing streak, but they haven't found that goal. Can they change that narrative here?
But that's a little glimpse as well about Healy and the way he can just float into positions undetected almost, operating between the lines. Very dangerous player.
Armas rolls it ahead for Rempel. Loose ball picked up by Armas. Armas shoots, knocked away by Smith. Guarding his near post. Keeping this one 0-0 here. Look once again on the Bowen Health replay. Just trying to rifle that one in.
Yeah, it's an extremely tight angle. The goalkeeper's always got it covered, but there's also a case for testing the keeper, yeah?
Ball swung inside and they score! The burden has fallen on Ryan Betcher, and he is up for the task. Corner kick goal for Fort Wayne.
Well, you can see in the celebration from Ryan Betcher. This is who I am. This is why I'm here. You asked me to do a job. Here it is.
Armas on the service. And it's the big number 9, flipping it along so nicely.
Yeah, good technique on that header. Corner whipped in, perfect. And just a flick in there. On the volley. Good finish.
Fret not, Fort Wayne fans, you still have a striker. Ryan Betcher up for the challenge. Fort Wayne FC goals are brought to you by All American Stores, celebrating every score with hometown pride right here in Fort Wayne. And we were just talking about this, Simon. Positive starts to these games for Fort Wayne, but no goal to show for it. There's the goal to show for it for a team that's had most of the control in this match so far. And that sort of changes the attitude and the
it's huge.
Energy of this game going forward, because now you have that relief.
Absolutely. You don't feel like you're getting a repeat story again. And you've also answered the question about losing your star striker and where are the goals going to come from. And Mike Avery, when we talked to him during the week, was saying he had every confidence that Ryan Betcher could come in and take over and make that position his own. And half an hour into the first game without Lilian Nicole, here he is.
4th goal of the season for Ryan Betcher in league play. You can tack in one more from the USL Cup as well. It's not like he hasn't started games this season, but Ryan Betcher in particular has sort of been an awkward face as far as the lineup's concerned, because you want to put him at that number 9 spot, but Rico's been so good. But Betcher's also a good player, so you're just trying to figure out, all right, where can we play him? Do we play him as a winger? Do we put him in the midfield? I mean, how do we get this guy onto the pitch?
I mean,
you don't have to worry about it now.
He looks such a number 9. Everything about him screams number 9, that I can see if you're squeezing him in wide positions, it's probably not going to work for him. But in his natural role now, and who knows what the rest of the season could bring for him.
Meanwhile, Chattanooga trying to bring something on the other side. Thiago Dias launches that one out of play. It's a chest bump from his goalkeeper. Here's a look on the Bowen Health replay.
Yeah, very well timed with 2 players coming in from Chattanooga. That break, that's a classic Chattanooga style break, and Dias getting in there, absolutely essential clearance.
Corner kick for the Red Wolves. Shipman able to punch that one out of danger. This will trickle back to Iambila as the visitors try to muster a response. Wessels tried to curl that one towards Hernandez unsuccessfully. Scott McKenzie mentioned after that first meeting with Chattanooga that he felt they kind of kick-started Fort Wayne's season, and so he said, hey, they kind of owe us for that one, and I was hoping maybe that the roles could reverse here, but right now Fort Wayne with the lead, and Scott McKenzie mentioned it's a young, hungry squad, Fort Wayne, with, I guess, one less player to worry about with recall out, but Ryan Betcher steps right in and delivers the punishing hit themselves, or himself, I should say, and he said you can't give up silly goals against this Fort Wayne team. He thinks the key moment in these games will be the reaction to transition moments. As this one paired along to Healy, he tried to back heel it to Betcher. Didn't quite come off cleanly. Both ends of the pitch, this Chattanooga team will be trying to make sure they don't get hurt in transition while they try to be hurtful when those transition moments appear for them. And once or twice, they've looked dangerous in those situations in this game. But before anything else, he was very emphatic to us that he said, we as in Chattanooga need to be authentically ourselves. When we do, we play better. Awudor. It's always a tougher challenge to play your style than when you're on the road. It just, there's extra elements you have to account for. You're not as familiar with the surface you're playing on.
Yeah, that's a big factor here, I think.
Armas rolls it over to Gafar. Armas still dancing with it. Awudor steps up for a shot. Once again, Jason Smith called to action.
Yeah, it's a good save. And again, we see Awudor looking dangerous around that penalty area. Doesn't hesitate, 2 little touches, takes a little deflection, and that's a really good save from Jason Smith.
This effort punched away by Smith. And Michael Rempel will once again hit the corner kick. Brought to you by More Wealth Management. They scored from their last corner. This will sail over everybody, and there is some contact in the box, so a free kick incoming for Chattanooga. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. About 10 more minutes to go here in the first half of action in a big 6-point affair between Fort Wayne and Chattanooga. Both sides sitting right along that playoff line. The Red Wolves above it, Fort Wayne below it. At least that's how it was when this game started. But Fort Wayne with all 3 points would hurdle Chattanooga. Of course, still loads of time in this game, but that just goes to show you how tight the margins, not only in this game, but in this league are this season. Betcher is able to play it out wide. Awudor and Healy are there. Clarence Awudor striding forward, parried down. Gaffar picks up the pieces, and he can't put it on frame.
Just couldn't manage to get his body in the right shape behind it when that opportunity came to him to go forward, but the goal was at his mercy, even from that distance. It's a good move from Fort Wayne. They're causing problems with those runners around the box. He's just come out, couldn't get to it, Butcher, and yeah, he gets himself in the wrong sort of position there. It's a difficult one.
A lot of closes there to describe. Awudor close to scoring himself, Betcher close to picking up the pieces, and then Gaffar maybe not as close.
He had to take that with his left foot, really. He got himself in that position because he wants to use his right foot, but, you know, more confidence with his left foot there, and he puts that away.
Down goes Ayambila. Still ailing here. Let's look on the Bowen Health replay. A little choppy here. Late challenge from Armas, and then Nieto gets the back of the ankles for Ayambila.
Yeah, take your pick with those two challenges, which one you give it, because the first one was also pretty late.
We had a couple of clumsy collisions in this game that have resulted in Alawole and Rempel getting yellow cards. I don't think we're getting any here, though, from our head official, Rashawn Clark. Can't be kept in bounds. Scott McKenzie, talking about this matchup, mentioned that he's got to keep this Fort Wayne team honest. Make it as difficult as possible for Fort Wayne to be aggressive. In that last game against these two sides, or between these two sides, Fort Wayne scoring in the opening minute of the game, and so from then on out, it was Chattanooga who had a bunch of the ball and were just trying to find that equalizer, but McKenzie was pretty honest with us, and he said, we didn't create any good chances in that game. So they'll want to be better about that here.
Yeah, well, they haven't created too much, have they, in this first half? I think Scott will be a little bit disappointed by the way they've just not been able to get, you know, on top in midfield at for any sort of sustained period, really. It's been Fort Wayne's game so far, this one.
And from here on out, they'll be looking to defend this lead, which is something they did for nearly 90 minutes in that first battle. Mike Avery said that match came at a crucial time, the Chattanooga game. They hadn't had to play with a lead like that and got out a win, and they were able to face that pressure and battle. And that was a kickstart to the season, and he thought, well, look, we're on a 3-game losing streak. Perhaps this game could act as a similar kickstart if we could get a good result. Of course, that's easier said than done. This is a tough Chattanooga team, but right now, they're gearing themselves for this to potentially act as another little ignition. Hernandez rolling this one forward for Ramos, and a corner kick for the Red Wolves incoming. It's a corner kick that put Fort Wayne in the lead. Can Chattanooga find a leveler from a similar facet?
They need to produce something from somewhere, and set pieces is a pretty good opportunity for them because it doesn't look like they're going to be creating a lot from open play the way this game's unfolding. Make the most of these opportunities.
Here comes the service. Laline puts it back in the mixer. It's juggled around. Nieto misses the clearance. Blocked away by J.P. Jordan. Ropapa Mensah had a look at it. Frantic stuff here. That ball's loose. And once again, it's steered away. And the decision looks to be goal kick, and Chattanooga pretty stunned by that. Corner kick was taken quickly. Thiago Dias picking up some bruises on that occasion. Yeah, awful close encounter.
Causing some problems in there, Chattanooga. They'll have noted that, I think, for the second half of this game, that if they can get balls in and around Shipman's penalty area in that close space, there might be some joy for them there. Because they've got a good physical presence, haven't they, Chattanooga, at set pieces. Bring the defenders up, get them in the mix.
Get some of those big bodies up there to do some damage. It's a Chattanooga team that last year were very much in the conversation for the Players' Shield. Just barely edged out by their in-state rivals, one Knoxville in that regard. Not quite in that conversation right now, and that irked Scott McKenzie. He said, so far, I mean, yeah, there's some things that we can be happy about this season, but generally not pleased with where they're at, because he wants to be competing for titles each and every year. You gotta love that mentality from the coach, that no matter what excuses you could come up with, he's not gonna carry them. He even mentioned how tough the schedule's been for them, because they were kind of sparse early on in the season, which is actually when you want to be busy, because you're trying to look for that rhythm and then have fewer games as the year goes along. So then you can preserve bodies and make sure everyone stays healthy, but they have the complete opposite situation. But the fact of the matter is said, look, we're 6th in points per game so far this year, and I think that's about fair where we deserve to be at this point. But he wants them to start hurling some of those teams above. Armas winds up for a shot, blocked away by Adewale. Sort of wrap up that point. He thinks they can kick it up a notch and be one of those best teams in the league. Sort of a similar energy that Mike Avery was giving us when we talked to him sort of about the playoffs. He felt that if this Fort Wayne team reaches their potential, or even is close to their potential, that they'll be in the postseason and things will work itself out as far as where they sit in the standings, should that be the case. He also mentioned just how unbalanced the schedule can be. Rempel, service curled in. Knocked back out by Hernandez. Vetcher. Rolls it over as we see one more minute of stoppage time added on. Fans, when you need more time, call More. Tonight's stoppage time is brought to you by More Wealth Management, helping you plan for the future both on and off the pitch. More Wealth Management, proud sponsor of Fort Wayne FC Stoppage Time. More seconds to go. Fort Wayne looking to have the final say here while they have the 1-0 lead. Dias taking it forward. Slides it out wide. Healy gets by one defender. Makes a deflection. Who's there to pick up the loose parts? No one's around. Armas. Back over to Gafar. Kabir Gafar. Well defended by Ayambila. Just bodying off the winger. That should about do it for the first half. And there is the halftime whistle. Well, no more Lily on recall, but no problem after 45 minutes. Ryan Betcher steps in and scores what's currently the decisive goal after one half of action. 1-0 your scoreline.
Yeah, and I think Fort Wayne, good value for their lead at the break. Certainly some hope for Chattanooga that they can get something, especially from set pieces where they look dangerous towards the end of the first half there. But Fort Wayne with that 1 goal advantage, and they look 1 goal better at the moment.
Ryan Betcher, the difference so far as we step aside for halftime. Halftime tonight is brought to you by Modelo, a beer brewed with character, tradition, and fighting spirit. As the teams head to the locker room, take a moment to grab a cold Modelo and get ready for an exciting second half of Fort Wayne FC soccer. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Please enjoy responsibly. We'll be back with some halftime content after this on ESPN+.
With a new Toyota from Toyota's national sales event, summer plays on. Whether you're teaching the art of tailgating, showing up for the home team, or finding the ultimate skybox, with a new Toyota, you can keep summer playing anywhere.
Right now, during Toyota's national sales event, lease a new Tacoma for $309 a month, or get 2.99% APR for 72 months on a tough new Tundra.
Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
At Trine University, we are thunderous. But how do we get that way? One rumble at a time. Every challenge faced, every insight earned, every setback surmounted puts you on the path to exceed all expectations, yours included. It's why Trine graduates have an over 99% employment rate and make noise in whatever field we choose. What kind of noise, you ask? Here's a hint. Hear more at trine.edu.
When injury happens, it can be devastating, not just for the athlete, but their entire family. This is where Parkview Sports Medicine comes in. We come alongside the athlete and the family and bring them back to where they once were.
There are stories like this in every community, in every single one of our high schools, in every single one of our universities.
It's the relationships that we build. We're building ambassadors for Parkview for generations to come.
Back here for halftime, presented by Modelo. 1-0 your scoreline, Fort Wayne with the lead. Well, you see this beautiful stadium here at Ruoff Morgan Stadium. It's not the only one that's in the works, or I guess in this case it's finished, but there are other ones that are in the works in the USL. So we will step aside and take a look at what else is being built across the USL.
They are more than shiny and new. The latest collection of brand new stadiums in USL are a commitment to communities. Fans in Boise have set attendance records. Finishing touches greet the fans in Fort Wayne weekly. In Greenville, Triumph fans are in love with their permanent new home. These projects take time and patience, but nothing gets a community excited like seeing a shovel in the ground. Detroit City of the USL Championship has gone from dreams to renderings to construction. At its recent groundbreaking in Southwest Detroit, Alumni Phi Stadium became a vision for the very near future.
We've been incredibly fortunate to create something that's way bigger than us, and that we have the great fortune of being stewards of it. And the stadium represents really an investment in that community, an investment in this neighborhood, a tremendous investment in the city, and something that will be around for generations to come.
With this stadium, the club is investing in its future and demonstrating a long-term commitment to building a sustainable, community-driven club. I'm excited for what the future holds for Detroit City. I can't wait to be back here for the opening match in 2028. And I want to say congratulations to the fans, supporters, ownership group, and the entire community that made this amazing new home possible.
At 15,000 seats, Alumni Phi raises the bar for Detroit City. Soon there will be more groundbreakings and sounds of stadium construction as USL gets closer to the launch of Premier.
But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino. Hay sed de revancha, doctor. Pero falta gol y estamos esperando a Hugo. ¿Hugo Sánchez? Sí, tira para adelante. ¿Quién maneja? ¿Un futbolista? Señor Martini, llegamos por fin. Ay, bendito sea el chapar, doctor. Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Pasa al norte! A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso. ¡Listo, vámonos!
With a new Toyota from Toyota's National Sales Event, summer plays on. Whether you're teaching the art of tailgating, showing up for the home team, or finding the ultimate skybox, with a new Toyota, you can keep summer playing anywhere.
Right now, during Toyota's National Sales Event, lease a new Tacoma for $309 a month, or get 2.99% APR for 72 months on a tough new Tundra.
Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
We're back here at the Roo, where it's 1-0 in favor of Fort Wayne over the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Halftime brought to you by Modelo. Mark Schoenster, Simon Evans with you here on ESPN Plus as we take a look at what's a pretty busy weekend in USL League One. So, we already touched base on Charlotte with 3 goals in the first half, but 4 goals between Westchester and Naples, both those teams trying to catch up in the playoff race. And then a big scoreline right now, the Cosmos, bottom of the table, trying to take all 3 points from AV Alta. That's something that both teams in this game would love to see come to fruition, as they both are trying to hop AV Alta, but there's still another 30 whole minutes in that game, so we'll see if that result holds. But right now, Guenzati has the Cosmos up front, and it's still a lot more games to go this weekend, including 2 matches tomorrow, including that CBS Sports Network match against Union Omaha and the Kickers, but also Spokane Corpus Christi could be spicy tonight, because Corpus Christi have been locked down defensively, and they're trying to also get into this playoff conversation. They're only 2 points behind the Red Wolves as it stands right now. So, a lot of big games, and they only get bigger as the season goes along, Simon. And that's not all the news across the USL. We're going to toss it over to Dan Lucas, who's going to give you a halftime update here. 1-0 your scoreline, Fort Wayne in front.
It is halftime in League One. We hope you're enjoying your match. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at the headlines. Spokane Velocity gave Colorado Springs a run in the quarterfinals of the Prinks Tires USL Cup, but it was a Panenka in the penalty kick shootout by Corey Bennett that sent the championship club through to the semifinals. Charlotte Independence fell 4-2 to defending Cup champ Hartford Athletic. Last weekend, Forward Madison's 9-match unbeaten run came to an end, and clubs are finding out how tough it is to get a result at AC Boise. Blake Bodley electrified the crowd with an 87th minute goal in that 2-1 Boise victory. That's 7 goals now in the final 15 minutes and stoppage time at home this season. Make no mistake, aside from that defeat, Forward Madison is on the rise, and head coach Matt Glazer is recognized as our League One Coach of the Month for July. An incredible month for the Mingos with 5 victories in all competitions. Madison outscored opponents 13-3 in 4 league matches. Upcoming national spotlight games all on CBS Sports Network. Omaha hosting Richmond this weekend. Phoenix Rising and Colorado Springs in the championship on the 19th. That game is also on 2DN, and then it's Orange County and FC Tulsa on the 22nd. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
When injury happens, it can be devastating, not just for the athlete, but their entire family. This is where Parkview Sports Medicine comes in. We come alongside the athlete and the family and bring them back to where they once were.
There are stories like this in every community, in every single one of our high schools, in every single one of our universities.
It's the relationships that we build. We're building ambassadors for Parkview for generations to come.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
This isn't the best seat in the house. This is. Because sometimes the best seat isn't even a seat at all. It can be anywhere, at any time, but not with just anyone. It's the only seat where you can watch your neighbor Manuel cry for the very first time, and where your passion is amplified by the sound of your people. It's a seat that any beer would love to have, but only the cerveza for football can. Modelo, the cerveza for football.
When you're looking for your next vehicle, there's a reason so many families choose Kelly Automotive Group. With 9 dealerships, 14 brands, and 3 convenient locations, you'll find an incredible selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Plus, enjoy free car washes for as long as you own your vehicle. Our commitment doesn't end when you drive off the lot. From routine maintenance to collision repair, detailing, and accessories, we're here to serve you long after the sale. Experience transparent pricing, exceptional customer service, and a team that's here to earn your trust every mile of the way. Kelly Automotive Group. Why buy anywhere else?
We're inching closer to the second half of action here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium, where it's 1-0 in favor of Fort Wayne SC, courtesy of a Ryan Betcher goal. Mark Schoenster, Simon Evans with you here on ESPN+. In case you missed the action or you'd like just a little bit of a primer on everything that took place in the first half of action, we've got it for you here. Here are the highlights. Starting with, in the 30th minute, there's a bit of a flurry of opportunities for Fort Wayne. Javier Armas trying to go near post and beat Jason Smith.
Yeah, tight angle. Not really much room to squeeze it in there, but testing Jason Smith out, and he responded perfectly.
But it did result in this corner kick, which is the difference in this game so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Betcher coming in and timing his run to perfection, getting that deft touch on it, and he says, here I am. You lost your big man. I'm the new big man in town.
No more Lilian Recall with this Fort Wayne team transferred to San Antonio yesterday. He was the striker, but Betcher takes over. Meanwhile, Clarence Salvador, they still have the corner of UCF Frenchman on the team too with him around. So everything so far looking good for Fort Wayne. We're looking at these highlights. Everything is Fort Wayne right now, and that's kind of how it felt as the game was going along.
Yeah, it was really, and they finding those space, those midfield runners getting in support of Betcher, and that was crucial. You know, when you looked at that formation, you thought, is this going to work with Betcher up front on his own? Only if those runners get in there and support him, and they have done.
Halftime stats are presented by the Hoosier Lottery, celebrating Indiana winners on and off the field while supporting communities throughout the state. Hoosier Lottery, champions of play. Possession number very much steered in favor of Fort Wayne. They also have all of the shots on target in this game. Bert Shipman hasn't quite had to do anything too tense outside of catching a ball off the back shoulder of Diash like 40 seconds into the game. That was maybe the most tense moment of the match for the Fort Wayne goalkeeper. But it's a stat line that Chattanooga's going to need to change if they want to find anything from this game here in the second 45.
Yeah, but possession-wise, they're always in the 30s somewhere, aren't they, Chattanooga? You know, they're not a team that goes out and dominates possession, especially on the road. Their threat is on the counter-attack, and as we've seen in glances, in moments from set pieces as well. So this next 45 minutes is going to be fascinating to see whether Chattanooga can really impose themselves on this game, because Fort Wayne was starting to grow into it, weren't they, in that last 20 minutes? And once they got that confidence to that goal as well, they looked in charge of things. But Chattanooga can upset things in this second half. I've no doubt about that at all.
Fort Wayne certainly felt like maybe they could have earned themselves a second goal before that halftime whistle. They'll be looking to pick up right where they left off, the home side. Meanwhile, Chattanooga hoping that they can throw a wrench into the gears and sort of make the picture here in the second half look a little bit different. Now, don't make any mistake, there was a couple of moments, especially after the goal was conceded, that Chattanooga looked dangerous on set pieces, but that's really been where they found any of their threat. So, I mean, if you're Fort Wayne, you try to keep from fouling when you're in your own half, and then for Chattanooga, you just got to keep asking the questions and hope you can win some corner kicks in the process.
They've got to find a way to get behind Fort Wayne's fullbacks, you know, and really start to do something in the wide areas, because it's been a struggle for them in the centre of the park. Fort Wayne are so well organised in there. I think that's Chattanooga's route to success, is to get behind the fullbacks, get the ball out wide, and start putting some crosses in and asking some questions of Diash and the rest of the Fort Wayne defence.
Some spirited conversations here between our head official, Rashawn Clark, and Pedro Hernandez, captain for the Chattanooga Red Wolves, who will now conversate with Tate Healy, who, although doesn't wear the armband, is certainly one of the guys that is a propellant for this Fort Wayne team as we get back into play here from the Rue. 1-0 the score. Ryan Betcher, the goal scorer, assisted by Armas, getting his 3rd assist of the season. Both of these teams coming into this weekend 8th and 9th in the standings, and that's a pretty important distinction because 8th is the last spot that gets you into the playoffs. It's now Fort Wayne who sit above the Chattanooga Red Wolves in that 8th spot. That ball is whipped in by Armas and cleared away.
They do, yeah, but there's games in hand come into it as well, aren't there? And then there's maybe even Corpus Christi come into it as well. So, you know, it's still a ways to go, but this game, you know, a lot riding on this game.
Yeah, matches like this can have ripple effects because, yes, Chattanooga still has 2 games in hand on Fort Wayne, but I remember someone telling it to me a couple years ago as a coach in this league, and he said games in hand don't mean anything until you actually get points from them.
That's right.
And when things get kind of tight and busy with matches here in the final stretch of the season for Chattanooga, it can be difficult to pick up those points when you're having to play on Wednesday after playing on the weekend and then play on the following weekend, which is exactly what they're going to have to do here after this game. They've got another road trip in the opposite direction at Sarasota. So it's a tough little stretch here for the Red Wolves, and you want to get points where you can.
Yeah, that travel, midweek travel, really can take a toll on a team. You know, it's hard.
Long distance effort, knocked away. Jason Smith parries it wide. That one shot from outside the box.
Yeah, not much room to get away, but he does well to get a shot off from that position. It's a well-struck effort for Jason Smith. Even with, he may have been partially sighted there with a crowded penalty area in front of him, did well to get down.
Hey, Keeley with the pop shot. Wasn't able to get it to go there. So it'll be Michael Rempel from the left corner flag. Lofted in, and there it goes down. No whistle sounds. Keeley keeps it in bounds. He's the one who took that shot moments ago. Goes down too easy there. Armas prevents the counterattack. But then he loses possession. He was crowded by several white jerseys. Bentley, he'll take contact, go down, and a yellow card looking to be brandished here for Javier Armas. It'll be his 3rd of the season. Yellow cards tonight are presented by Arnold Terrell Riddenauer, attorneys at law, protecting your rights on and off the pitch as we see the professional foul from Javier Armas. Bit of a wry smile on his face as he realized he wasn't going to get away with it. Hurled effort, Perry back to goal and to score! What a volleyed finish for Chattanooga! Yanis Leline, A parrying effort ties this game at 1 apiece.
That is an incredible finish. You saw that cross going out. You thought it's going out of play and he'll do well just to keep the ball alive. Never mind, put it into the back of the net. Hook towards the back post. And that's amazing, but I tell you what, Bernd Shipman might not be too happy with himself though when he looks back at that replay. Didn't really get in the right position for that, but it's an incredible finish. Great skill and technique from that angle and that awkward height as well. That's a superb goal.
Yanis Lalin gets on the pogo stick and scores his first goal of the season. The Spaniard poking it home. A wonderful finish, and we are back on even terms here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium.
Wow.
All it takes is a brief moment. Ball lofted back in towards Betcher as this game is tied up once again, which means Chattanooga returned back to the 8th place spot over Fort Wayne. Again, every single point could prove paramount once you get to the end of the season. And although we still have a little over 2 months left to go in the regular season, you could look back on this game and think, oh man, if only my team did a little bit better here, one way or another. Right now it's a point apiece. JP Jordan able to juggle that one, keep possession. Healy along for Gaffar. Kabiru Gaffar pokes it forward. And it's a corner kick for Fort Wayne. He was escorted out, trying to keep from anything more dangerous happening. Jordan Ayambila, he's been holding his shoulder ever since he got knocked over the play a couple moments earlier, and he's still ailing it. You're wondering if a substitution is coming. As we get this corner kick presented by More Wealth Management, helping individuals and families in Fort Wayne plan for a stronger financial future. Yeah, he's still grabbing that shoulder, and you're wondering if the substitution is getting ready for Scott McKenzie's side.
So maybe something's come out of place a little bit there.
Rempel curls it in. Diosh turns it to goal, but Jason Smith is ready. This will roll all the way back to Bernd Shipman. He's more than capable as a distributor, the goalkeeper. Armas turns it back over to Awudor. He's all by himself in the channel. Awudor with the cross. It spills out. You always got to be ready. Ryan Betcher just got a little piece, and it's another corner kick.
Yeah, I was just about to praise Jason Smith for the way he's handled everything that's been thrown at him tonight, and then, of course, he goes and has a little scary moment there, but he's got away with it.
Nieto over to Armas, still in bounds. Musa tried to have a shot, and instead gets the Chattanooga Red Wolf. So the whistle will sound as Lyndon Wessels goes to ground. Here's a look on the instant replay presented by Bowen Health, caring for the mental wellness of our community every day. You know that Musa here is just trying to take a shot, but, well, he gets a lot of Lyndon Wessels instead.
Yeah, painful one, that. Just above the shin pad. But no ill intent there at all. It's just both players having their eye on the ball and not each other.
So Jason Smith will put this across midfield and get it out of danger after Fort Wayne had some sustained possession in the attacking third. Musa up to Awudor. Well done from Clarence Awudor. Steering through. He still has the ball. Now it's out to Gaffar. Kabiru Gaffar. Stuttering. Tries the cross unsuccessfully. Musa. Play it over to the left-hand side for Rempel. This game at a bit of frenetic pace here in the second half. Both sides with some wobbly moments defensively. Jordan rolls this back to Diash. Fort Wayne just trying to find a matchup that they can work with. Awudor blocked away by Leline. Diash lifts in the cross, and it's escorted out of play, and a goal kick incoming for Chattanooga. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Anis Leline down on the ground right now. He's helped up by Ayambila, still in the game. Now both players over on that left-hand side, left back and left winger / left midfielder, however you want to label it, not 4-4-2. Both taking knocks there, but still up and going. Leline with his first goal of the season. Start off this second half at 2 goals and 6 assists last season in his first year as a Red Wolf.
Really great technique for that goal. I actually think the Burnt Shipman was perhaps caught out slightly by just not expecting it.
Yeah.
I mean, he felt like a ball that was going out of play.
Awudor still wrestling forward. Awudor bumped off the ball. All fair, says our head official, Angelo Kelly. Always a physical defender. Armas. He gets tripped up. A lot of players on the ground right now, and a free kick incoming for Fort Wayne.
It's getting a little bit feisty here.
The urgency starting to spill through.
That's fine, that's a shoulder. I think that's completely fine.
Our ref having to use his whistle rather incessantly here. You see Awudor slide into the board.
There is a bit of a push there, actually. I mean, it is shoulder initially, but there's a little bit of making sure he went to the ground as well.
And then he also knocks over Rempel there just moments later.
Right.
Listen, Angelo Kelly has never been a player shy of some contact. And then Ramos running into Armas, so certainly some indignance is going to happen when you see several of your teammates go down if you're a Fort Wayne player. Yeah. Regardless of how clean the challenge may have been, you see several of your guys laying down on the turf, you're thinking, what has happened? Michael Rempel, on the other hand, still hasn't gotten up, and now he's being checked on his left shoulder. That is one of the things about turf fields, is that you fall down on awkwardly in an awkward angle, it can leave a mark maybe a little bit more than grass would.
Yeah, it's not the same forgiveness, is it?
Rempel will have to step off. We'll see if he will return to the game or if he'll make a substitution here. Nobody's made any changes yet in this matchup. We are nearing 60 minutes. Take Healy with Rempel absent. Will be the one from the set piece. Ryan Betcher, the goal scorer in this game, I imagine is the primary target here on this set piece. Healy curling it in, swatted away by Smith. Been active today, Jason Smith. Armas spraying it out to Healy. Wynan Wessels just walling him off there, and then is tripped up by Musa. Chattanooga remaining firm here. Ever since they scored the goal, Fort Wayne have been aggressive. Red Wolves, though, have been able to manage each individual moment so far.
Yeah, just a little trip there, just tactical foul. Stop the momentum of that potential breakaway.
On the other end, Chattanooga trying to catch them snoozing. Good far. Touchline will turn. So they try to get some more numbers forward. That's one thing that you can never doubt about these Chattanooga teams, is they're going to do everything in their power to fight for a victory. As this one clips by the keeper, but also rolls by the goal. The lean goes down. Grabbed by JP Jordan. Play will continue. But they're going to utilize every single resource they possibly can. Scott McKenzie was telling us, all I really want to do is win. So whatever avenue that they have the ability to take advantage of, and a lot of it's going to be in the effort category, in the mindset category. Just such a gritty team. He was telling you that he's a guy who's pretty pragmatic about the way he coaches. It's not like he has a particular set style he likes to play in, as much as it is, all right, what's our personnel, what best fits them, and how can we make them as good a team as possible?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, some of the best coaches in the world take that approach as well. I mean, Carlo Ancelotti is imagine. No one can tell you what the Ancelotti style is particularly. It depends what team he's got. Then you do have some coaches. Obviously, Guardiola's a great example of somebody who has an idea, an ideology, if you like, about the way he thinks the game should be played. That's not an approach that I think, you know, coaches at other levels of the game can really take to impose that rigid style of almost rules about how they play the game.
Well, I mean, you talked about the reality of being a third division side in the United States. You're going to have players that you hopefully develop and you can sell to higher leagues. And so unless you're a guy like Pep, who's at one of the best clubs in the world, you get almost the litter's choice of all the players in the world to build your system. Instead, you got to work with the guys who actually choose to come play for you and figure out what system benefits them the most. So I think that pragmatic approach is really the best way to go about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, style of football. So we just see this attack.
Fort Wayne trying to make it happen. Take Healy off target. They've been hunting, but they haven't been able to hit the bullseye here.
No, but it's working well with Healy, isn't it? Once again, in that little pocket of space behind the front line, and he's just off the target there, but encouraging for him that he finds that space. He looks a threat every time he gets the ball on the edge of the penalty area.
He certainly looks a threat, but it's been a hot minute since he's been able to find the back of the net, Healy, after he went on quite the goal-scoring tear for a good while, including scoring 4 league matches in a row. But since he really got into goal-scoring form, he hasn't been able to hit the back of the net. And I'm counting 7 straight matches. Well, actually, it's 6 coming into this game. Chattanooga will quickly retake it. Hernandez goes down again. And the offside flag will go up. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. 64 minutes in. 1-1 is your scoreline. Ryan Betcher opening up the scoring from a corner kick in the first half. But a lovely finish from Yanis Lalin levels the scoreline here in the second half. Nothing to see here, according to our assistant who had a front row seat. It will be a corner kick, though. Ryan Bila once again down and ailing. He was grabbing his shoulder earlier on in the match. This time Ryan Bila grabbing his jaw. These guys are taking a beating out there, Simon. It's another more wealth management corner kick. Armas and Rempel. One's by the corner. Armas right now the one taking it. Nothing doing there. Jordan. It's knotted down. Playing a bit of head tennis here as that one was scuffed over to the near sideline. Pretty much back to where it was in the first half, with Fort Wayne having a lot of possession. Gaffar, back up top to Musa! Oh, he whiffed it! The center back with maybe too much time to think about it. So well worked for Fort Wayne.
Oh, it was a beautiful move. That would have been one of those highlight reel team goals. Passing way through their opponents and then straight through, but a defender's finish there, I'm afraid.
James Musa, the center back, found himself in the spot for glory. Just couldn't be up for the task there. And now perhaps something for Chattanooga. Rempel gets there a moment sooner. He gets knocked over by Bentley. Some close encounters as Rempel, once again, slow to get up. Another one of the players who will probably be using the ice bath after this one.
Oh, he's been in the wars as Rempel today. He really has.
This game been a bit of a war on the pitch. You wouldn't expect any less between these two sides. Both in need of any points they can get. Currently sitting in the middle of the table. Each passing week, that playoff picture develops more and more clarity, and these two teams want to be in it. Jordan settles it down. Roll it back to Nieto, who returns the favor. Iwador to Gaffar. His touch was a little loose, but he did track it down, or at least did enough to poke it towards Betcher. Doing well there. Intervention there by Michael Rempel. Ball still in bounds. Well, at least we thought it was, but perhaps it curled across the touchline and back into play.
I think so, yeah.
Tough to tell from our perspective, as the first two substitutions are readying themselves for Fort Wayne. You see Jaden Smith and Jack Thomas getting ready to trot on.
Entering the match for Gaffar, 23, Jack Thomas.
You see Kabiru Gaffar along with JP Jordan coming out of the game. So, Jaden Smith, I believe, will be filling into that right back spot for Jordan, with Jack Thomas going in as a winger for Gaffar. But Jaden Smith definitely a fullback with a little bit more attack prowess, so certainly no signs of slowing down here for Mike Avery's team. Two changes getting ready also for Chattanooga, as looks like we're going to get them right now. So Grayson Mercer on for Opapa Mensah, who had the assisting service to Liline. And then Liline comes off, so both the assister and the goal scorer for Chattanooga sub off. And they'll hope that maybe the substitution combination can sort of recreate that magic here, including Aaron Lombardi, who subs on and has played with a different role as of late for Chattanooga, having stepped up as a striker at times, despite usually being more of a left back / left winger. And talked to Scott McKenzie about it a little bit, and he said, well, I mean, if you actually rewind back to quite a bit of time ago when he was in the academy at Galaxy or in college at San Francisco, he fancied himself a striker. Then he comes to Chattanooga, gets put as a fullback, and has kind of been in that position since then. Funny story, though, about Lombardi sort of playing as a striker. They dropped a graphic on social media with him at the striker spot along with Omar Hernandez going into a Charlotte game, and there were guys who stayed home who thought, well, this can't be right. I mean, that's not where he plays, but lo and behold, that's where they put him. It definitely worked in that game. Other games hasn't as much, so some varying results there, but I like putting him in there at that spot because it can kind of open up the wingers a little bit,
yeah,
get in deeper, but we'll see if he actually plays as a striker here or if he'll be more of the spot we've grown to know him as in his USL League One days. It's always fun, though, when you get to see a player that we've gotten to watch for quite a bit of time in this league take on a new role.
Well, we all wanted to be strikers, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
You know, growing up as a kid playing the game, you want to be scoring goals and be the number 9, number 10. And then the coach says to you, yeah, right back today, big man.
Yeah. Get ready to run a lot, but it's not the kind of running you want to do.
Yeah.
Hope you like the touch line. Free kick ready to go here for Fort Wayne. First goal coming off of a set piece. Javier Armas will be the one to play this ball in. Driven ball, Betcher lunging for it. Couldn't put it on frame.
Interesting thing about the two subs from Fort Wayne, 2 English players coming on. Very different paths towards USL for 2 young English players. Because you have Jack Thomas, who's taken the route of college, been in the college game and then gets picked up by USL 1 team. And then Jaden Smith, who's come out of Coventry City's academy and went straight to Fort Wayne. That's a really interesting development that I think we're starting to see much more of in the USL and in North American soccer in general. Players from academies in England, they recruit so many players, they train so many players. Obviously not everyone is going to get the chance and make it. And for a lot of those players now, when they get the rejection letter, they're immediately starting to think, can I go and do something in the United States? There's opportunity out there as the game is growing. So it's really interesting to see these different developments because obviously the college scene as well is just packed full of international players now from all over the world, isn't it?
And you've got a lot of those college graduates here playing their first pro season at Fort Wayne. And also there's another example of an academy guy from England over here now, Daniel Oyatunde on the bench, an Arsenal academy guy.
Right.
Who is hoping maybe he'll get a chance to get into this game as well and make a difference. But yeah, you get that variety of backgrounds.
Well, I mean, you know, Scott McKenzie could tell you that if you don't make it into the top pro academies and the top professional teams in England, your choice is to go in what gets called non-league, you know, 4th, 5th, 6th tier football, which it could be, you know, it's a very physical world, but it's a place you can get forgotten about very quickly.
Meanwhile, Ryan Betcher trying to make some memories.
Ooh. Is he giving it?
It looks like he has. We have players down. A big goal-scoring opportunity.
Let's have a look at this one more closely. Betcher there, just getting away from the last man into the penalty area. Is he clipped by the goalkeeper? That's the question there. as Jason Smith comes out, does he make contact with Ryan Betcher?
Rashawn Clark, the head official, he pointed towards the penalty spot, but it also could have just been pointing as a goal kick.
Hard to tell, wasn't it, really, with that signal? Feel like from the way the players are lined up, it's a goal kick, though, yeah?
Betcher pleading his case.
The referee had a good positioning, he had a good view of that one.
Once again, oh so close. Jordan Iambila, the one on the ground. Ryan Betcher trying to give his team a lead for the second time in this game. And really, Iambila doing everything he can, sacrificing his body to intervene and make it more difficult. I mean, this is worth getting another look at. If we look on the Bowen Health instant replay.
I don't think that's a penalty. No, I think he goes down just before Jason Smith is coming to hit the ground in front of him. No, I don't think so. I think he's also pushed the ball way too far, and the referee's in a great position. He'll see that the ball's actually going out of play. That's always a little bit of a going to work against you as a striker. Let's put it that way. If the ball's well away from goal and you go down.
And that's a split-second decision that has to be assessed by your head official, because this is not, we do not have VAR to review this. They don't even get to look at the replays like we do. So Rashawn Clark and our assistant officials have to make a snapshot decision on if it looked like it was a fouling effort from the goalkeeper or not. It appears that that decision was correct, as we're going to get two more changes here. You see James Vaughn along with Michael Knapp ready to sub in, and perhaps Iambila has taken one too many knocks in this game to keep going. We'll see what the decision is. He's going to play on. Let the soldier keep on trudging onward. Michael Knapp back in the game after missing so much of the season and missing the end of last season with injury. So, great guy to see back in the mix of things. Scott McKenzie told us that they left a spot for him, and if it took a little longer for him to recover, be ready to play again this season, but they knew they wanted him. I mean, he's just such a warrior on the pitch. He said Michael Knapp is everything I like and want in a footballer, so they'll just gradually get him back to match fitness and ready to go. It's great to see him out there. To turn the tides here in the second half after they found a goal to equalize. Fort Wayne have been incessantly searching to take the lead once again. Chattanooga has stood firm so far. Still lots of time here for one of these teams to claim all 3 points in this affair, though. And this is a game that hasn't been short for drama.
Do you feel that Fort Wayne have been the more composed team in this game? You know, I think the Red Wolves, you could still not discount the fact that they might be able to get themselves in front. They forced situations to happen, but Fort Wayne on the ball just looked a lot more comfortable.
Lillian tying the game here in the second half. Ever since then, Fort Wayne have looked the more likely side to score another goal. But likely and doing the thing are very different. Thomas, another corner kick is incoming. Ryan Betcher scored in the first half. Someone that Mike Avery felt could step up in the absence now of Lily Henri Cole, who was transferred to San Antonio yesterday, or at least that was announced yesterday. They also have the option to shift the shape a little bit if need be, but the next man up mentality stands regardless. You mentioned, yeah, I mean, the guys are a bit sad to see one of their teammates leave, but also excited for this chance to now be that guy that steps in and has a bigger role on the team. They're looking for someone to step up here. Rempel with the service. Armas from the left-hand side now. He rolls it back to Nieto. That ball may have come off his boot just a little bit awkwardly as he was looking for Rempel. Down goes Mercer. And a yellow card issued to Emerson Nieto for the foul. Yellow cards tonight presented by Arnold Terrell Ridenour, attorneys at law, as just knocks over Mercer there. A little bit of a hand action there too. Grabbing the fun in the back of the torso. Arnold Terrell Ridenour, attorneys at law, protecting your rights on and off the pitch as we get back to going here. Here's a stat line for you, Simon. It's been 30 minutes since Chattanooga has last attempted a shot in this game. That's another way to paint the picture for how lopsided the run of play has been. And yet we remain 1-1. Sometimes you get these nervy performances from Chattanooga, and then at the end of the game, they find a game winner, and you go, oh, you know what? Another 3 points in the bag for Scott McKenzie's side. Certainly something that they've been able to muscle out in games past. Ramos and Lombardi will be the one to drive this ball in from a good distance. Lombardi with the launch. Vaughn will scoop it up. He could have a cross, and he'll do just that. Deflected around and scored! After a dry spell for 30 minutes, Chattanooga find a second and have a lead for the first time this evening.
Well, Fort Wayne look absolutely stunned. How are they losing this game? They're asking themselves, but it's a good ball in from Lombardi. Deep to the back post. They don't clear their lines. Second chance to get the ball back in. Again, good delivery. Again, they don't clear the lines, and it falls right to the feet.
Just goes off the chest of Michael Rempel and back into the danger zone. And I was just saying, this is a Chattanooga team that sometimes they don't see any offense for a good stretch of time, and then boom, they find one. And Grayson Mercer has done it.
Off the bench, one of those substitutes. And really now Fort Wayne have got to up the tempo and find a way to at least get a point out of this game, because they will be asking themselves how on earth they ended up without a point if they can't turn this around. They've dominated so much of this game.
Smith with the cross, spinning in. Not dealt with fully. Rempel back in the center. Armas now, and he's bumped off the ball. And now this is where Chattanooga loves to be, which is relying on their grit and determination defensively. What a second half for Chattanooga. Just bravely defending. And 2 goals as well. Those are the kind of players that Scott McKenzie looks for. He says his environment is ruthless. You've got to be hungry training with us. Either a young player with a chip on their shoulder looking to prove themselves, or an older vet wanting to close their career in good form. Those are the kind of guys that Scott McKenzie is trying to bring in and year out. And he's really built something here. Smith brings it in. Abudor nods it towards goal. Couldn't quite get it to work. Two more changes readying for Mike Avery, as they are once again looking at another loss. It'll be their 4th straight. Haven't seen a losing streak like this before, Fort Wayne. And somehow they've returned back to the storyline of these other games where they felt like they've played well but don't have the scoreline to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, you get games like that sometimes throughout a season, and you think like, well, it's going to turn for us at some point. But then if you hit 4 straight defeats like that, you know, it really will cause some concern. But still time to get something out of this game for them now, but quite incredible. And credit to the spirit of Chattanooga Red Wolves here for the way they've approached this second half.
2 more changes for Mike Avery here. Emerson Nieto for Jeremy Garay, like-for-like substitution. But then Daniel Oyatunde subbing on for Michael Rempel. So I mentioned Oyatunde earlier, Arsenal Academy product, subbing on. Usually plays in a more forward-thinking role for this Fort Wayne team, but they need some extra firepower out there if they're going to find an equalizer. Chattanooga's proven that it is tough to break them down. No matter how close you get, they do everything they can to keep it from finding the back of the net. Diash provides the clearance. The spirit hasn't really wavered for Fort Wayne during this losing stretch. Mike Avery sees that they're still playing pretty well, and he said the players also feel that way. He says maybe they're a little naive, but they don't miss a day. They own these results without shame, and they work to fix the issues. Talked about just how much he loves working with these guys, and he felt it was a really good week of training, and it's translated for a lot of this game. But 2-1 is the scoreline in favor of Chattanooga, who are looking to get a big 3 points on the road and to separate themselves a little bit from Fort Wayne as far as the playoff line is concerned. They're also looking to catch up to the likes of AV Alta, who did lose that game against New York Cosmos, by the way.
Ooh.
So as of right now, Chattanooga just a point behind AV Alta in the active standings. In the early stages of Spokane-Corpus Christi, Spokane has the lead. So right now, these are all results that are perfect for the Chattanooga Red Wolves.
Yep, there's no result that's more perfect from them, or no scoreline that's more perfect for them than Fort Wayne 1, Chattanooga Red Wolves 2. With 2 minutes of regulation left.
Another substitution here is Iambila finally comes out of the game after taking several knocks throughout this one. And in comes Beto Apolinar, excuse me, as he gets his 4th appearance of the season. The LA-born player.
But yeah, I mean, Chattanooga don't care about possession stats, right? You don't get any points for those possession stats. So Fort Wayne have had, you know, the first half it was almost 70%.
The whistle sounds as this one will be given as a free kick. Fort Wayne will be thinking that advantage should have been played there. But this is still a prime opportunity for something magical.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could be frustrated about not having the advantage played here because it did fall to Betcher in a promising position. But I think still, even so, if you've got a free kick specialist in your team, that is prime position now. Big chance, big opportunity here for Fort Wayne to get what they will feel they at least deserve out of this game.
8th place and 9th place coming into this weekend. 8th place being the spot at the very least you need to be in to make the postseason. As we start getting into that playoff push portion of the season, we see 6 more minutes tacked on.
Almas fancies this. He's looking at Curly this one in the top corner on the unguarded side of the goal.
Armas! Oh! Off the woodwork! It nearly followed the script. The goalkeeper was stuck, planted in place.
How has that not gone in? Almas looks up, goes for that side, hits the post, and 8 times out of 10 that hits the post and goes into the net. It's just come at such an angle that it's incredible. Wow. I mean, it's not Fort Wayne's night, isn't it? That's what they're going to be feeling.
Oh, you felt that was perfect. All you had to do was watch that ball go in, and it refused to. A sigh of relief for Chattanooga. As you see, we still got a lot of stoppage time here, fans. When you need more time, call more. Night stoppage time brought to you by More Wealth Management. We plan for the future both on and off the pitch. More Wealth Management, proud sponsor of Fort Wayne FC stoppage time. Emergency eject button hit there by Toby Adewale. It'll be a throw-in. Taken to Oyatunde.
Almas has been behind everything good that Fort Wayne have done in this game. He's dictated the play. Not the most mobile of midfielders, but always available, always on the ball as he is now. But denied by the woodwork.
Thomas turns, plays it forward. Got stuck between the likes of Oyatunde and Betcher. You now have to go chase down Jason Smith. Has the wherewithal to not pick it up immediately. Musa bounces it over to Diash, who lifts it. Healy trying to carry that along to Thomas. And we do have a player down for Fort Wayne, which will bring this one back. Take Healy, who was falling as he played it forward. It's a quick restart. Lombardi has the burners. That's going to be a yellow card for Garay. Did exactly what he was doing. He'll get his 3rd of the season. Halfway through the 6 minutes tacked on. Bit hobbled here, Jeremy Garay, after that. Taking both the legal punishment and also a little bit of a physical punishment, too. What a game it's been, Simon. Here in the second half in particular, the tension, it has been there the entire time.
Oh, it's been an intense game of football. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
All kept in play, or at least so we thought. See confirmation, Garay getting that yellow card. Arnold Terrell now attorneys at law. Your rights on and off the pitch. Ball rolled over to the left-hand side for Oyatunde. Daniel Oyatunde splits the defenders, had to chase his touch, and it just got away from him. And another free kick. And it appears to be another yellow card. Michael Knapp, who feels like he's been hard done here.
Painful one there. I don't think there's any intent there. Just the ball getting stuck between two legs, and that's always going to create a situation like that.
So yellow card for Scott McKenzie. That'll be the one who gets the booking here, not Oyatunde or anybody else.
There's a history of disciplinary problems in this game, doesn't he?
Yeah, did get sent off on the first occasion. A pair of yellow cards. This one just maintaining in play as time is running out for Fort Wayne. Shipman rolls it over to Armas. 30 seconds to go. Fort Wayne have been front-footed. So they only have one goal to Chattanooga's 2.
Defended well though, Chattanooga. You have to give credit to them for that as well. For all the possession that Fort Wayne have had, we've seen a lot of moves end on the end of the box, like edge of the box like that, because they've held that back line very strongly.
How many more chances will be afforded by Rashawn Clark? Armas launches it down the field. Cleared away by Chattanooga. Yellow card's been given to Musa. It looks like it's going to be a free kick for Chattanooga here. So Musa gets the yellow card, his second of the season, which gives the ball back to Chattanooga. Sean Clark gives the okay for play to resume. And that'll do it. It's gritty, it's gutty. It's a Chattanooga Red Wolves performance, 2-1 on the road. They pick up all 3 points in a big road affair against Fort Wayne.
What was that phrase Scott McKenzie used? Aggressively authentic?
Something along those lines. I mean, that's what it looked like out there.
It was aggressive and it was authentic. It was the way they wanted to play, and they took their opportunities. And Fort Wayne, again, just not having the decisiveness at either end of the field. It's what was being talked about before the game, but the finishing ability just wasn't sharp enough. The opportunities to turn all that possession into chances weren't made the most of, and hesitant at defense to allow those 2 goals in the second half. So, you know, Fort Wayne could feel hard done by that they leave this game without any points, but what a performance from Chattanooga Red Wolves, and what a result.
It's another classic result from Scott McKenzie's crew. 2-1 your final score. Chattanooga, all 3 points on the road. We're gonna step aside. When we come back, we'll have our post-game thoughts here on ESPN+.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
When injury happens, it can be devastating, not just for the athlete, but their entire family. This is where Parkview Sports Medicine comes in. We come alongside the athlete and the family and bring them back to where they once were.
There are stories like this in every community, in every single one of our high schools, in every single one of our universities.
It's the relationships that we build. We're building ambassadors for Parkview for generations to come.
When you're looking for your next vehicle, there's a reason so many families choose Kelly Automotive Group. With 9 dealerships, 14 brands, and 3 convenient locations, you'll find an incredible selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Plus, enjoy free car washes for as long as you own your vehicle. Our commitment doesn't end when you drive off the lot. From routine maintenance to collision repair, detailing, and accessories, we're here to serve you long after the sale. Experience transparent pricing, exceptional customer service, and a team that's here to earn your trust every mile of the way. Kelly Automotive Group. Why buy anywhere else?
We return to Ruoff Mortgage Stadium, where the Chattanooga Red Wolves have bested Fort Wayne FC 2-1 with 2 goals in the second half. Grayson Mercer with the scrambling game winner in the second half for Scott McKenzie's team. Mark Schoenster, Simon Evans with you here in the postgame show on ESPN+. It starts with the goal by Ryan Betcher, who is our man of the match, presented by PSM-ONE, keeping Fort Wayne FC healthy and match ready all season long.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the script for the story today. Ryan Betcher taking the number 9 position, but it wasn't to be.
In the second half, well, we were looking for Papa Mensah to score a goal, but I just lost one up there for Yanis Lalin.
Yeah, incredible finish from Lalin. If you look how far it is, gets his left foot and hooks it around, I do think Bert Shipman will want that one back when he has a look at it on the replay.
And then this moment here, after 30 minutes without a shot, Chattanooga finds a way.
Yeah, Fort Wayne just couldn't clear their lines here. 2 balls into the box. The second one comes in. Again, it just falls for Grayson Mercer, who makes no mistake, the substitute, off the bench and on the score sheet.
2-1, your final score. Fort Wayne couldn't make it happen for another game. It's now a 4-game losing skid for them, and they have to sit on this result for 2 weeks. They don't have a game next weekend, but maybe that's what they need to turn things around, because look, there is now a 4-point gap between being in the playoffs and being out of the playoffs, and that's not accounting for the fact that Chattanooga have 2 games in hand as they look to hop over the likes of Boise Navy Alto, or several games ahead of the teams. There are several points ahead of Chattanooga as far as games being played as well. So,
if I'm Chattanooga, I'm looking at that and thinking I can get up there into 4th position by the end of the regular season. There's opportunities for that team to really work their way up there if they can find that consistency in the coming weeks ahead.
Could be a real hat-hanging point for Chattanooga in this season. Just the 2nd team in USL League One to win at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. 2-1 your final score. They play in the midweek against Sarasota on the road. It's 2 weeks until Portland Hearts of Pine for Fort Wayne. For our entire broadcasting crew tonight, though, for Simon Evans, I'm Mark Schoenster saying so long. We'll see you next time here on ESPN+. What a game here, and what a night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.